Look, man, Snoop Dogg has a large list of egregious activity. A large list, bruh. But this one right here, I ain't gonna lie, it take the cake. This one right here was ridiculous. And we gonna break it down piece by piece. All my OGs on the channel, if you a OG, you know how I feel about Snoop. And it's not that I hate Snoop or nothing like that. It's just that he be wildin'. Right? He be tripping. Alright? Check this out, bro.
For sure. Hey, it's good to see you. Good to be seen. Man, proud of you, dog. You doing everything we talked about 30 years ago. You're helping out the community. You doing things with your family. You done became a grandfather. And you keeping it gangster. I love that. I respect that. Appreciate that, God. But dog, remember what you said 30 years ago? When I asked you about politics? Yeah, I remember what I said. Do you remember? Yeah, nigga, I remember clear as day. You told me I ain't with the Republican Party and I ain't with the Democratic Party. I represent the motherfucking gangster party. Let's get it. Ain't nothing but a gangster party. Oh, shit.
Look, man. Look. Come here. We gotta talk about this, okay? There's a multitude of reasons of why this is egregious, and I'm gonna get to every single point. Okay, I don't got a script for this, so bear with me. Number one, Tupac and Snoop relationship when Tupac passed was not good. It was not good. And I don't think it was one of the things where brothers gonna be brothers and they gonna patch it up. No. If you listen to what the Outlaws feel about it, right? The Outlaws themselves, if you listen to what Tupac felt about it, right? Bruh, Snoop was aligning with people that Tupac had issues with, that Tupac felt like set him up and tried to take his life. Right? And I get it, right? Everybody don't gotta ride with you on everything, whatever. If that's how y'all feel, that's how y'all feel. But my thing is this. Tupac was at it with Dr. Dre because of Snoop. Tupac was at it with Dre because Dre didn't show up to the murder trial for Snoop. So it's like, and then there's a story that, I don't know if it's true or not, but Snoop was telling Tupac that he was going to go on that radio show and get at Biggie and Boom Boom Boom. And he ended up getting on the radio and bigging them up, which makes it look crazy when you got a situation going on between both parties, right? That's just one thing. Number two, there's a historical, an insane amount of proof of Snoop just blatantly lying about situations and encounters with Tupac, reframing situations, adding his own little details to make himself look a certain way, adding details to kind of make Tupac look a certain way. Right? Like the story with when Tupac and Nas met at the park in, I think it was Central Park in New York or something like that. They ran into each other and they had the groups behind them and all that. Snoop had me thinking for years that went a certain way, that Tupac was just barking on Nas and Nas was chilling. And it was this, this Nas was being the bigger person type of thing. When you listen to the security guards, the Outlaws, all that type of stuff, people from Nas camp, they tell the story that they were literally conversating as men in respectful manner. It was the entourages that were here and there getting all boom boom. And Snoop made it seem like Pac was the only one wilding. And then there's all these different stories about people saying Snoop didn't really rock with Pac and he was didn't like how Pac was popping off while he was on death row either. Like there's a whole lot, and that's not even the minimum of the stories that Snoop just tells in a way that are just completely false. That are just completely false in accordance to the people that were there, that were involved. And a lot of the times, the way Snoop frames these stories, he's trying to frame Tupac in a way that don't really represent Tupac. That it represents the narratives that people have of Tupac. So it gets to a point where, okay, now no. Let's take a step back. Let's talk about the Drake situation. Drake got in a battle with a West Coast artist that you crowned, right? That you gave the crown for the West Coast. You passed the torch to him on stage. It's one of the most historical moments in Kendrick's career. The West Coast is supposed to be bonded and in unison when it comes to stuff like that. For you to allow Drake, while he's battling Kendrick, to use your voice and to use Tupac's voice to send shots at Kendrick, right? I'm not saying you had the power to tell Drake, hey, we ain't doing that. But you had the power to come out and say, hey, we not doing that. You not using, if you really care about Tupac the way Snoop try to act like he care about Tupac now that he gone, you not about to use my voice and use Tupac's voice to get at another West Coast artist that I crowned. Right? You're not finna disrespect the West Coast and use my voice to do it. You're not finna disrespect the West Coast and use this dead legend's voice to do it. That's like towing the line of necromancy on the low. Right? And I know people use AI for different reasons and boom, boom, boom. I think your intentions are important. But when you're using it for disrespect, that's you crossing a certain line that I feel like is playing with the energy of the ancestors at that point. Snoop got online and made a joke out of it. Made a meme out of it. That's not how the OG is supposed to operate, in my opinion. You're supposed to shut that down. Hey, I'm not saying you do what you want, but I don't condone that. I don't condone you using my voice and you using a dead legend's voice to disrespect an artist that I respect and I put on for and that I put on. You're not supposed to advocate for Taylor Made. You're not supposed to do that. That's why Kendrick said, Snoop posted Taylor Made. I prayed it was the edibles. I couldn't believe it. It was only right for me to let it go. And that was first of all, he let it go. But that was justifiable. That's like, how could you do that? There's been too many instances where Snoop Dogg violates Tupac or allows people to violate Tupac. And I'm not saying that Snoop gotta be the protector of all the different stuff, but damn, when it's time to use Tupac name for a brand deal, when it's time to use Tupac name, the nigga had a death row chain on in that video, man. In that AI angel video, you had a death row chain on that nigga. And I'm not saying you wrong for doing that, but come on, man. You feel what I'm saying? Like, so the way I look at it, I'm like, whenever Snoop need Tupac for an endorsement deal, he in this video game, and I want to talk about that soon too. He in this video game that Snoop is in, right? That I guess he had talked to the, I don't know for sure, but I guess he had talked to the Tupac estate to put him in the video game, and we don't know what he gonna be doing in that video game. You see what I'm saying? It's like, it gets to the point where how often and how much are you going to use Tupac's likeness and energy in order to make brand deals? And let's not even start there. You had Tupac saying all these things, congratulating you for all this stuff. We don't know if Tupac would have did that. Not where y'all relationship was at. Not where y'all relationship was at. The way Tupac was, bruh, and the way Tupac was talking and boom at that time, and Tupac could have matured and moved past that. Absolutely. Absolutely. But from what we know, if you was siding with them at that time, then you wasn't riding with Tupac. Tupac was really big on, it's us and that's it. It's us versus them and that's it. In general, Death Row was supposed to be the faction that, you know what I'm saying? All that. So Not to mention, they last interaction before Tupac passed was not a good one. And Snoop has been framing it like that was his brother, and they had a couple issues that just fell apart and all that different stuff. But the more you do real research on this stuff, it wasn't so much that. And it gets to the point where it's like, all right, man, Snoop has been touted as a habitual fence sitter when it comes to a lot of these situations. And I'm not going to be sitting here acting like people who, like, some things are not worth going on either side. Some things are worth just sitting on the fence. So I'm not going to sit here and act like that's a problem, right? But at the same time, my dude, it's just certain situations where you wasn't supposed to fence it, where you represent the West Coast. You're not supposed to let somebody disrespect the West Coast and make a meme and a joke out of it. Like, nah, bruh. There's been too many moments where Snoop Dogg is just on the fence about certain things. And I just feel like you can't do that and just spam, you know what I'm saying? You got Tupac in this video game and none of us really know what it's about. You got you using Tupac AI voice and making him say things to you that we are not entirely sure he would have said to you according to y'all relationship. It's just like, it's too far. It's too far, bruh. It's too fucking far. Especially when you got the Outlaws literally saying how much of, essentially just how much you be capping and how much Snoop be lying about these things. And so you then question the motive. What is the motive here? Because damn, we talk about Drake leeching off of the dead legends, and Drake leeching and juicing hip hop memorabilia, right? Like a colonizer, like a Christopher Columbus, right? Like a like, you know what I'm saying? Like figures we even see in the Bible, just stealing artifacts and juicing them. If we gonna talk about that with Drake and Michael Jackson, why don't we talk about that with Snoop and Pac? And I think the reason we don't do it is because of the allure of the relationship. But my nigga, if you do the due diligence and you do the history, it's not what Snoop tried to say it was. It's really not. Even listen to the way Suge Knight talk about it. So it just gets to a point where it's like, bruh, at this point, Snoop is like going overboard with the juicing. You see what I'm saying? And it's like, you can't do that. You can't do that, bruh. You just can't do that. You can't do that in one instant, allow somebody to disrespect them and to try to act like that's your brother and all that different stuff in the next second. You can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that, bruh. But anyway, yeah, that's all I really want to talk about, bruh. That's not it. Another example of Snoop Dogg just wilding. All right. But anyway, like, comment, subscribe, especially if you're new here, especially if you've been here. Tap in with the Patreon for all the Jay-Z reactions. You know what I'm saying? The Jay-Z album reactions. We also got the conspiracy theories on there. The tinfoil hat theories on there. You know what I'm saying? In tier 3. We also got the behind the scenes. I got some announced very soon. I think in the next couple of days about to get announced. I don't know what's getting announced. But I got some that just got confirmed that's getting announced that I think y'all going to be very excited for. So be ready for that, and I will be documenting the process of that on my Patreon as well, and on YouTube. You feel what I'm saying? The pieces will be put together on YouTube, but the BTS of everything will be put on the Patreon. So y'all be ready for that. And yeah, man, it's about to be we about to have a great summer. But appreciate y'all, love y'all. You feel what I'm saying? Hey, I'm gonna catch y'all, man.